Good afternoon and evening, everyone. I see we've got a few people in. Say hello in the chat so I know who you are. Today's a new stream. The last couple of streams we've been working with GitHub Actions, but we came to the end of that. We got our Jira GitHub Action working that syncs GitHub issues across to Jira, including comments and labels. So today I thought we'd try something new. And there's something that I've wanted to do for quite a while, and that's learn how to build Alexa skills. I've got a couple of ideas that would be quite nice. Being a developer advocate, I used to spend quite a lot of time on the road. So I had this idea where my wife could talk to Alexa and say, "What time is it for Michael?" And it'll work out where I was based on my calendar, work out the time zone, and then tell her what time it was. So that's what I'm going to try building. Probably not today. Like, today is just really basic. I've never done it before. I just want to get an action running and work out how to test it. So you know about as much as I do. The first thing I'm going to do though is I've actually got an Alexa on my desk, and I just need to make it so that she is not listening, because every time I say Alexa on stream, she's going to say, "Yes, Michael? What's going on?" Okay. So like I said, I know absolutely nothing about writing Alexa actions. All I know is that, one, I want to write it in JavaScript, and two, I don't want to have to upload the code every time. I want some kind of online tester. So I'm going to start by looking for a library to help me build it. So build an Alexa skill in JavaScript. Build an Alexa skill in 20 minutes. Okay, it could be that easy. Start with the official docs. Medium post. Yeah. Sample skills. That could be quite useful. And Alexa skill tutorial for beginners. September 2018. That's reasonably new. Oh, November 2018. Even newer. Let's try this one. Nick Raboy. I know that name. Who is Nick Raboy? Ah, he's a senior developer advocate at MongoDB. There we are, it's a small world. So, we're going to be creating a skill for one of his favourite deal hunting websites, Slick Deals, that's fine. A new Node.js project, that's a good start. And, aha, Ask SDK, that looks promising. What is that? Ask SDK package is the standard distribution of Ask SDK v2 for Node. Thank you. There we are. Ask stands for Alexa Skills Kit. Let's just focus on logic instead of boilerplate. Let's have a look. Account linking, device address, display, that could be quite handy. I've got an Echo Show on my desk, so that could be quite nice in addition to the voice responses. A hello world action. Let's have a look at that. Okay, but how do I get started? This is a learner mono repo, so I've actually got to click into one of the SDKs. Here we are. So npm install, say ask SDK. let's do that. We need to create a new directory first. Alexa skill. Let's just do hello world for now. And I will install that. I'll let it download in the background whilst I continue reading. I see we have Bold Bearded Builder in the chat. Hey there, Michael. I'm trying some new things. You'll see I've got a nice little boy with my Twitter handle at the bottom, my overlays, and a bit of music in the background. Hopefully it's not too loud and you can still actually hear me. Yes, calling you out. I need your experienced input. Like, how's the background music? Too loud? Too quiet? Just right? Okay, this SDK readme isn't particularly useful. It's a little low. Perfect, thank you. So yeah, this readme is almost useless. It tells me how to include it, but that's about it. So I guess we'll take that. I guess we'll require that SDK and continue reading this blog post. No, I don't want to join your newsletter. So let's have a look. What is it doing here? There's an error handler. And okay, so that looks quite useful. So I'm just going to steal that. And it looks like we've got to export a handler function. I guess they're going to be uploading this to AWS Lambda, and that's how it responds to all the Alexa requests. That was a weird autosave. Let's keep reading. So we're importing each of the project dependencies. In my case, Alexa. I didn't have request or SSML builder. We don't need that yet, or at all, perhaps. Next, we're defining our error handler, which makes sense. The handle function is where the actual logic goes. Yep. Yeah, there we are. It's never directly executed by Alexa or AWS Lambda. What if I don't want to deploy it with Lambda? Like, what if I want to test with ngrok or something like that? Maybe I can. I'd be surprised if not. Let's try it out. So we need to create our first handler. So if the skill is not defined, we can initialize the Alexa SDK and plug our error handler, which is a catch-all to bad requests. Okay. So that's the about handler. Okay, that makes sense. But okay, this is where we actually want to implement some logic. So get front page deals. and that's another handler. So that's where SSML Builder comes in. So I can either use that. So SSML stands for Synthesized Speech Markup Language, which I learned thanks to my work with the voice API at Nexmo. And I could use the SSML Builder, or I could just return SSML myself. For now I'm going to try and keep it simple. And build it myself. So I think it has a speak tag, then hello world, and I don't need the builder, I'm not doing any of that. And I'm missing a closing quote. Okay, did you see how when I saved it reformatted everything? That's because I'm using a plugin called Prettier. What Prettier will do is automatically reformat your JavaScript based on a very opinionated set of rules. I don't really mind what rules I follow when I'm writing JavaScript, but I want it to be consistent. And what Prettier allows me to do is just use their standards, use their tooling, and I don't even have to think about it. This is something that I was first introduced with when I was writing Golang, Go format. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I really enjoyed not having to think about what my code should look like, but just write the code and let the tooling handle it for me. So we know this isn't a front page Steels handler. It's a hello world handler, and we want to trigger it on a hello world intent. And I guess we have to add that to request handlers. Yeah. Is that a list? No. So technically we could take this code and prepare it for deployment on Lambda. Okay, that's good. That's a good start. It can't be that easy, surely. Like, that can't be all it takes. Just include the SDK, handle errors, handle a request. I mean, I guess we've got enough code. We've defined an error response, and we've also defined our hello world intent and our hello world handler. How does it get triggered? Like, you know, when you say, Alexa, what time is it? Or Alexa, tell me a joke. Like, those trigger phrases. How do we define those? So Nick, being a good developer in this, is teaching us how to write tests for our action as well. Me being a not so good developer this evening, I'm just going to skip straight over the tests. I just want to see something working. More tests. With the code ready to go, we need to deploy it on Lambda. Okay, I can do that. Configuring the skill to interact. So this is what I was missing. This is where we specify all of the invocations, like tell me a joke. There must be another way. Like, I don't want to have to log in and configure the skill by hand. Like, I'd actually like to define that as part of my skill itself. This is the hello world. So, what's skill.json? The locales that it's enabled in. So, ENUS, ENGB makes sense. Example phrases, that's what I was looking for. So you can actually define those in a config somewhere. Like I don't have to do it through the portal. That's good. And APIs, custom endpoint, source directory, Lambda custom. So what's in there? Index.js. So that ask SDK core, is that what I included? No, I just included ask SDK. Hey there, Brett. I see you've met Michael before. You know, CDD, I like it, community-driven development. I get to do the fun bit. I get to write the code that works, and then like leave it as an exercise to the watcher. You go away, you learn, you add tests, and then you contribute it back. I like it. This looks pretty familiar. So they've got the hello world intent handler. Well, they've got a lot more handlers than I had. But that looks okay. Like, this looks similar to what we had. Alexa Skills Builders Custom. Alexa Skill Builders Custom. What's this request interceptors? The request interceptor will bind translation function T to the handler input. Does that mean that I can return my responses in English and then have it translated? Language strings. Ah, nice. So you define your lookup keys and then you define all the different languages. I think that's getting a little bit far down a rabbit hole for me. All I want is to be able to run a skill. Ooh, ask-cli. That looks interesting. With a 404. But let's have a Google. What is the ask-cli? So I have an Amazon developer account. I think I do. Node.js and npm, yep, that's fine. And I have Git. Oh, amazing, there we are. If I'm not using AWS Lambda, I can point skills to my own endpoint whilst using the CLI to manage my skills model. That's exactly what I was looking for. I just want to run it with ngrok, but manage all of the invocations. I guess that's what the model is, locally. So let's take a step back and then npm install ask-cli. So I need to run ask init to initialize it with my Amazon AWS credentials. I guess it's time to double check if I do have an Amazon developer account. And I'm just going to drag this off to the right because I will blatantly type in all of my credentials for everyone to see. So let's sign in. And I don't have the 1Password extension on this browser. So Amazon, and that's my password, and now it's going to ask for two-factor authentication. Yes, it does. Security. Okay, it looks like I've got one. Let's have a look. Yep, I'm logged in. Alexa, I guess. Create Alexa skills. What's this do? Yes, Michael. So this is an Alexa skill that will run only for me. I believe you can add them within in like a test mode. For now, I'm probably going to set it just to run for me, but who knows? Like maybe with time we can set it so that you link it to your account and it gets access to your calendar, and then it'll be able to tell you what time, be able to tell your wife what time you're in, time zone you're in. So Alexa Skills Kit. This is what I'm already using. Let's go back. So yes, I have an Amazon developer account. I've installed the ask-cli, then use it to manage my skill. So I need to run ask init. Do I need to be in the directory? Let's make one just in case. Call it skill demo. Ooh, this looks interesting. Do I want to create a new profile? Yeah, you could say Alexa start the stream. What would that do? Go live on OBS, I guess? Like, how would that work? Would you have something listening on your local machine for that webhook? I'm going to create a new profile just in case. Profile name, stream. I would like to read catalogs, catalog uploads, more catalogs, create catalogs. Does anyone know what a catalog is? Yeah, this seems okay. Hello. Yes, I've read all the T's and C's. Close the browser and return to the command line interface. If I want to host my skills backend in Lambda, I must associate. They're really pushing me towards Lambda, aren't they? Yeah, sure, why not? Ah, so you'd have Alexa turn on your lighting, open all the windows that you need and start OBS and start streaming. Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I need to save some of this. The details are recorded in CLI config. If I want to host my skills backend code in Lambda, create a new profile. We'll call that stream. Oh, more secrets. Yep. I'm going to put this over here to the side. It's not that I don't trust you all, but I just don't trust you all. So set up credentials for an Amazon Web Service account. Create AWS credentials. Sign into the management console. Which user am I? Am I a root user or an IAM user? Knowing me, I should be an IAM user, but I am a root user. I am a root user. So I signed in. I need to open the IAM console. I know this probably doesn't make much sense because you can't see it. I guess you could see this, actually. Let me drag it across. I just didn't want you seeing my credentials whilst I typed them in. So where's my window gone? Put this back here as well. So I need to open the IAM console, which I've done. Click policies. Where's policies? Policies. Create policy. Alexa, write my code for me. If only it was that easy, Brett. But it wouldn't be anywhere nearly as fun, would it? Like, if you could just say, Alexa, solve all my problems. What would we do all day? So copy that and paste it in. Oh, I've missed a step. Click JSON. There we are. We don't want the visual editor. If I go back, does it populate from my JSON? Oh, nice. That's quite a nice search. So it's taken the JSON definition that I copied and pasted in and showed me what that's actually going to apply. So list, read, write, and permissions on Lambda. Get role, pass role, attach role, no idea. And some CloudWatch logs. That all seems useful. Click review policy. Yes. For a name, enter the policy. For example, ask-cli. That looks like a fine name for a policy. That's a fine description, and I need to click create policy. You're pretty sure you could find something. I recently finished playing Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a fantastic game. I'm only about 3 years behind. I managed to pick up a PS4 in Prime Day last year. I've been a PC gamer for years, but that game took over my life. I was waking up early before work just to get an hour in. There's something really special about it. Then of course the meeting started. So I've done create policy, click users, then click add user. Stream demo Alexa. And what kind of access are they going to have? Programmatic access. Create group. Alexa skills. It looks like I have actually tried building a skill in the past and just forgotten. I'm going to follow the instructions and call it ask-cli, and the policy is ask-cli, I guess. I should read the docs. This is where I make a mistake, because I thought, yeah, Michael, you know best. Don't bother reading docs. permissions, create group. The policy name is ask-cli. Create group. Then click next into tags. What tags do I want to give? None. Next review. And then create user. Excellent. This is my only opportunity to save the user's secret access key. If I don't save it now, I'll have to delete and create a new one. Download CSV, I'll save that for later. So now I'm going to drag this out of this window again, so you don't steal all my credentials. And I'm going to populate the AWS access key that it asked for earlier. And initialization is complete, my ask profile is stream, my AWS profile is stream, and I have a vendor ID. And skill demo. I think that's everything that I needed. So let's go back. Not that one. So I ran asking it. So I should all be logged in now. So create a new skill from a template. That's what I want. So I can use an Amazon provided template or a custom template, use my own template. And that can just be a Git repo or a JSON file. That makes sense. For now, I think I'm going to stick to the Amazon templates. And how do I do that? So if I just run ask new with no parameters. Ooh, I've got a choice. Node or Python. You really don't want to see me writing Python, especially not Python 3. The last time I wrote Python 2.6 was the latest, so I'm going to stick with Node. Pet match? No, let's go with Hello World. Let's keep it simple. Skill name, stream, Hello World. And I don't need to be in a folder, it will actually create it for us. Let's just go in there. And what's it created? Oh. How do I get the depth? So many options for what's quite a simple command. Capital L. So tree, 1 level, 2 levels. I was right. So what are our hooks? Instructions. Oh, test using simulator. That could be quite useful. Lambda custom, and then models. First of all, let's slim down those models. So I don't want German, Spanish, French, Italian, Japanese, Hindu or Portuguese. I also don't want Australian, Canadian, Indian, and I think my Alexa account is set to ENGB, but it could be ENUS, so I'm going to leave both of those in there for now. So now that's tidied up. What else have we got? What's in that Lambda folder? This is exactly the it's the one we were just looking at in the browser. It's just cloned it down locally for me to test. Okay, what else is in here? What's in skill? So all the example open phrases. Oh, nice, and you can even specify your example phrases in all the different languages. Let's slim that down as well. So we want to delete everything up to there. So I only get the invocations in US and GB. Oh, forgot to disable all my notifications, so that's done now. Sample testing instructions, source directory Lambda custom, yep. What else is in here? What is in hooks? Free deploy hook. Install dependencies. Oh, this is for Lambda, I guess. What else is in there? Post new hook. So this script runs npm install in each source directory in skill.json. They look almost the same. And let's take a look at .ps1. Do you look at that? Yep, we're on the same page, Brett. PowerShell script. We're an equal opportunities platform with Lambda. You can run it on Linux, you can run it on Windows. You know, I never really got into PowerShell. I did a little bit of it. The last role I was in, we deployed all of our software to Azure. And it was things like set dash location. If it had a lowercase l or you missed the dash or something like that, it was just so fiddly. Yeah, I just couldn't get along with it. Yeah, like write output. What's wrong with echo? You know? Just... Echo's been around for such a long time. Why do I have to reinvent the wheel? No, I'm just joking. Like PowerShell actually seems like a big step up from what we had previously. I've seen people do some really interesting things with it. PowerShell 7 GA. What is PowerShell 7 GA? I'm guessing GA is general availability. Oh wow, it's a cross-platform tool. Okay, this is new to me. So, Why would I use PowerShell over falling back to Bash? Like, I have years of arcane Bash tricks and tips wedged in my head. I'd like to unlearn them, but what is PowerShell going to bring for me if I make the jump? Do a for each loop in Bash. That's not too bad. Let's do it. If my terminal ever catches up, I do need to slim down my Z shell IC. Inputs. Command not found. Did I forget to quote things? Nope. Okay. Fair point. I can't even do it from memory. Working with objects versus strings is the main thing. So JSON conversion commandlets and working directly with APIs is a dream in PowerShell. Yeah, I'll give you that. With the exception of very simple JSON manipulation, which I use JQ for. If it's anything more complex than that, I fall straight back to an actual programming language. Working with JSON in Bash is a bit of a nightmare. Although, are you familiar with JQ? Like, we can do skill.json, pipe it into JQ, and we can actually do selections, so .manifest.publishing information. Nope. There we are. And then we want locales to come there, and then actually let's turn this into an expression. Two entries, so now we've got it as a key value, and I want to extract the key. Will that work? And then value would be the value.name. And then from entries. Cannot index string with string key. I almost got to the end of a full JQ expression from memory there. Sorry, I'm getting completely sidetracked. JSON conversion commandlets working directly with APIs. It's similar to the James path that the Azure CLI uses. Now, is James path the same one that JQ uses? Or is it the other one? Yeah, it's the same one. Where did I get to? You know, you've completely thrown me off here. I was just debugging. I was just looking what we had in our package. Yeah, there was a shiny thing. I headed down the rabbit hole. So right, we're back. Hooks, instructions, Lambda. What instructions do we have? I'm going to read through the instructions in this repo because we get nice rendering. So let's have a look. In the first step of this guide, we built a voice user interface, did we? I guess we did. We scaffolded it. We've got the code. But I don't want to deploy it by just clicking on code. Customize the skill to be mine. I need to customize it with data and the responses. Yeah, I'll do that. So that is in work models. No. Lambda custom language strings. Goodbye message. So cheerio, great to see you. You know, we're going to be really British. So I've done what it said. I changed my goodbye message. What else do we do? So I can build, edit and publish a skill without leaving the developer console. I don't want to host it with Alexa though, I actually want to use Lambda. That's what we just went through all that pain setting up the AWS credentials. Now, this isn't helping, I'm going back to Google. Oh, deploy. Where's the deploy command? Oh. I'm just going to try running it and see what happens. So it's creating a new skill. No, it's using the wrong profile. I created one called stream. How do I set which profile to use? Here we are, understand profiles. Ask default profile. Let's see if that makes any difference. There we are. We're using the stream profile now. I got really confused if I went on there and it wasn't waiting. Whilst that's running, what else can we do? I don't know what else is useful in there. I'm just really waiting for this model to be finished deploying. Oh, creating Lambda. So no runtime handler settings set for custom default. When creating Lambda, it'll use Node.js 10. Yeah, that's fine. So whilst this was deploying, I just clicked back to Twitter and I saw that Brett has followed me, so thank you very much. But there's a little thing in his bio, automating things in clouds with PowerShell, Microsoft MVP. Like, I thought there was a bit of an ulterior motive. Like, can you be an MVP for PowerShell? Simulate my Alexa skill by using ask dialog. Locale engb user hello world. Is that what I was looking for? You can say hello or help. Hello. Hello world. Okay, that's it's actually a really nice experience, isn't it? Like being able to build your skill and then immediately jump into an interactive tester by running ask dialog. Welcome, you can say hello or help. Which would you like to try? Help. This didn't resolve to any intent. Update your interaction model. So let's update it. And Lambda index. So how does it know what the intent is? So hello world intent. Where does that get registered? What files does that exist in? Ah, so it's in the models. I see. So these are the samples that trigger hello world intent. So if I say hi, no, that didn't work either. So the invocation name is hello world. Hi. Let's exit out and let's try again. So if I just try hello instead, what happens? It didn't resolve to anything. So do I have to say hello world before I can then have like a subcommand? Okay, so what if I try hello again? Ah, so if I go to hello world and then help, don't know that. Hi. Hello world. Okay. So all of these hello world intents. Cancel intent, help intent, stop intent. So what else is in index? And what? Cancel and stop intent handler. So if I do this, cancel intent samples, and we'll just say never mind, and then I think I need to deploy it again. That was much faster, wasn't it, than that first deploy? Ah, it's not finished. Strange that this takes so long just to deploy. I wonder if there's a way to... Oh, I guess it's not really... I'm going to finish a thought. So I was going to say, I wonder if there's a way just to update the code. But it's not really the code that we're changing, is it? It's the model, it's the skill, it's the invocations, and it's the intents. So let's go... Let's upload. Okay, all deployed. And that's strange. So I don't know if you noticed a little bit of lag last time I deployed. I noticed it, I thought it was just my stream manager, but now that I've refreshed it, I can sell, like, I refreshed it and it all came back and it was fine. But then when I deployed again, it's as though the ask deploy step just takes up all my bandwidth and OBS can't stream anymore. It's pretty weird, isn't it? Let's try it again though. So ask dialog. So hello world. And then we can say never mind. And we should see our cheerio. Great to see you. I think I'm starting to understand how these things fit together. How the samples map to intents, which map to handlers. So how do I do it as a single command then? You say hello world never mind. Like, what if I don't want like a long running session with Alexa? Now let's close these and done that. So I generated a template, that's fine. Ah, so this is what it does when we click on, when we run deploy a skill. So it creates a new skill and development stage for my account. It creates one or more Lambda functions in my AWS account and uploads the code. Publishes them in the right locales. Looks in my skill projects manifest for Lambda endpoints. And then looks in my skill project folder for in-skill products. I don't have any products. It updates the existing skill, that's good. Deployment details, that's fine. And the pre-deploy hook, which runs at the beginning of the ask-deploy command, that's fine. And it runs npm install. So those are the scripts that we were looking at earlier, that have both the bash and the PowerShell versions. Schemas, skill manifest, yep. Interaction model, that sounds good. Let's have a look, because I don't want to have to open up Hello World every time. Is it the skill manifest? Where's the models? Here we are. Sample. So how do we trigger this? So this is called MySpace Facts. Is it ask MySpace Facts to give me a fact? Ask hello world. Never mind. Got it. So by saying ask, you're saying run this program, and then anything after the initial utterance is used as a slot. This is kind of cool. And the reason I think it's quite cool is because I'm actually guessing at a lot of this. Like, for me, that's a pretty awesome developer experience. Like, if I'm not having to read through reams and reams of documentation, but instead I can just say, hey, I think that I can do this, and I try it out and it works. I think I've got it. So let's strip this back. So I'm going to do this. What's launch request handler? So there is no launch request interaction model for ENGB, so I'm just going to delete this launch request handler. Hello world intent. Yep, that's the help intent. So help and how do I use it? So I'll be able to say ask hello world, how do I use it? Let's carry on. Cancel and stop. Goodbye message, that's fine. Fallback intent. That's the one. So it says it's triggered when a customer says something that doesn't map to any intents in my skill. So how do I expect this to work? So Amazon.fallback intent. How does this work? The out of domain requests respond gracefully. So should it just... Actually, what does it do? Fallback message. Lambda custom. Sorry, I don't know about that tray again. So, ask hello world bananas. Let's see what it says. So I don't know about that. Please try again. So fallback is working as intended. Let's keep that then. Session ended request. So any cleanup logic, that's fine. We just log out that the session's ended. But how do you start a session? Intent reflector used for model testing and debugging. It'll repeat what the user said. So what is the, what's it called? Intent request. How do I trigger that? Maybe if we if I just change that to intent request, then it should trigger this instead, which should speak it back to me. A generic error handler, a localization handler, so there is no launch request. But all the rest are actually quite useful. So if I run ask deploy again, hopefully we should be able to have it echo back whatever I said using that intent reflector handler, which will help me develop my Alexa model. So when I'm checking with samples and these things called slots, I saw something to do with slots. Oh, nice. So you can actually have customized slots. So I'm starting from, I'm going from to, and then I guess those get passed into your skill as parameters. And types planet. So you get validation and hints as well. That's pretty useful. And did it again. Like my bandwidth just dropped whilst it's updating the Lambda function. Does ask actually use up all of my bandwidth? I think it might. Oh, This looks quite complicated, like elicitation required. Intent get travel time, intent slot, departing planet. Validations is not in set the sun or sun. This looks complicated. I'm going to take a step back and go back to my hello world, which is now deployed. So ask hello world hi. You just triggered intent request. Yes, I did. Is that literally all it does? Yes, that is all it does. Oh, that was a waste of a deploy, wasn't it? I'm going to remove intent reflector. So let's just delete this entirely. So that's quite cool. Reprompt if you want to keep the session open for the user to respond. So that's how you open a session. So if I anything else, so that's hello world. And session ended, request handler, and then a cleanup logic goes here. Why do we send an empty response? I want to return something. Like I want to say goodbye. So I'm polite like that. So no reprompt. Thanks for talking to me today. That's better. Okay, so what have we got left? We have hello world, help, cancel and stop, fallback. I still don't understand how this fallback works. When a customer says something that doesn't map to any intents. Oh, I already tested that. Yes, I did. I remember. So based on the changes we just made, the hello world intent handler now responds with the string, so hello, and then says anything else. And what is the cancel intent for this? No. I guess that's a stop intent, not a cancel intent. They're pretty close. In fact, in our code, we handle both cancel intent and stop intent in the same piece of code. But I guess there's technically a difference if people say, oh, never mind, versus stop. But let's keep it simple. Let's deploy that up and see if it has any impact on my bandwidth again. Tell you what, I'm loving the music from Pretzel. It's great background music to work to. Oh, it's not quite taken all my bandwidth yet. do wish this was a bit quicker, but maybe I'm just impatient. I feel the same way when I'm building GitHub Actions and I'm waiting for npm install to run. It only takes 30 seconds, but I'm just that impatient. I just want to test. I guess this is where writing tests comes in useful, like Nick showed us. There we are. It's killed my bandwidth again. That's so strange, isn't it? Every time it updates the Lambda function, like my network connection just dies. I don't know what it is about AWS using up all of my network. But now let's test again. So, hello world. So this is me opening a session. Open hello world. Oh, I think I've got a bug somewhere. So, ask log. So I've definitely got a JavaScript parse error somewhere. So ask Lambda, where are the logs? There we are. And once again, I'm just guessing where these things are. What did I call it? Hello world. Is it a parameter? Log group does not exist. Alright, I'm going to have to go back and click through. Alexa Developer Console. Let's go and check what I actually called it. Stream hello world. Log root does not exist. Turns out I have built one before. It was called Poopy Face, and I tried building one in my calendar. But that was all the way back in 2018. No wonder I can't remember how to do it. So let's take a look at this skill. I'm guessing this is the one. We've got the invocation name, hello world. We've got the model, we've got the endpoint, which should be Lambda. Ask custom stream hello world default. Is that the one? I was never going to guess that, was I? So, which end are we going from? Error handled, generic request dispatcher error. So, I mentioned prettier earlier. It reformats all my text, but it's also good to check if it's actually valid JavaScript to parse. So, Lambda custom. It is. What about that model? It is valid JSON as well. I wonder why it's struggling. Do we have to send an empty response when we're ending the session? Is that it, I wonder? Let's undo everything we did. So this is the... Oh, no. I think I know what it is. There we are. So I actually had an intent in my model that didn't exist anymore. So it wasn't handled. So it's the hello world intent that I am intending to work with. Sadly, that means we do need another deploy, and it's going to eat all of my bandwidth again. I know this only takes 30 seconds, but... Actually, what's this running? I'm going to go back to Nick's tutorial. Because how do you test things for this? I see. So AWS, well, Alexa just passes in this request envelope. It gives you the intent and any slots, so you're not actually testing any of your utterances. What are they called? Utterances, samples. You're not actually testing any of your samples. You're just testing the payload itself. Makes sense when you're thinking about it. That's how to test them. So it's an about intent. Cool, I'll come back to that later. But once this is finished deploying, we should be able to test again with ask dialog. It's taking his time though. There we are. Ask dialog. Could you imagine how long this would have taken without this ask command line tool? Like everything from, well, I'd have been editing all of my intents in the web interface just here. Oh, if I go back, I would have had to add a custom intent and then, oh, although I would have been able to just click through. That's quite cool. So I can just click all the intents that I need. Yeah, templating is definitely the way forward. So if I build my models, that's not what I wanted to do. Like my model already works. I don't want to rebuild it. but that's how you set it to just a HTTPS, so I could have just used ngrok whilst I'm working instead of keep deploying it. I don't know what's better. Like to actually keep pushing it to Lambda, or to just keep the code locally. Like as I'm iterating on the code, I guess ngrok could be better. But whilst I'm iterating on the model itself, then pushing it up and having it rebuild works. I have the reliance of people being good writing the templates. Well, I write my own. That's what I always end up doing. Like I find something that works, and actually during the stream I've learned a ton of stuff. I've learned what all those slots mean and the samples, and how to register the different intents. Oh, you're kidding me? You're still struggling. Hello world intent handler. You know what, I'm just going to undo back to where we knew it was a working state. When we had the intent reflector, and then we have the hello world intent, and cancel was saying this was nevermind, and stop intent was no. I think at this point we're back to where it last ran successfully. This is pointing at the hello world intent. Now I do need to find out why ask-deploy uses all of my bandwidth, because it really shouldn't do. That's because I clicked rebuild the model on the server accidentally. So I'm just going to say, you know what, ignore what the server's got. Trust my local version. And whilst that's polling, I'm just going to read through. What else we got in here? Cancel and stop, help, then hello world. Oh, here goes the bandwidth again. Updating Lambda function. Let's see. Act deploy uses all bandwidth. It auto completes. No, I think it was just common words. That's not too useful. I do wonder why it does that though. Like I'm just looking over at OBS and it's doing okay. But sometimes it just craters when I try and run ask deploy and it's uploading the Lambda function. It wasn't so bad that time. Is it bandwidth or processing on my machine? That is a very good question. CPU's at about 20% running OBS, and I didn't notice it spike. Like looking at the bottom right, CPU didn't spike, but the kilobytes a second dropped all the way down. But it's a really good question. I'm going to have a good look next time I deploy. I had trouble doing what you asked. Again. Maybe I was just forgetting the word ask at the beginning. Open hello world. Hi. So now I guess I need to put the reprompt back in. Anything else? I'm going to deploy that, and I'm going to keep an eye on the CPU this time rather than the bandwidth. %. So it's just waiting for that model to rebuild. 22% CPU. It's doing okay. 24. I wonder what it's actually doing when it's polling the status for the models. Do you think it's taking the text that I put in my samples and actually generating models to match the speech patterns for the locales that I specify? Oh, updating Lambda function, 24%, 23%. Yep, there was a little blip there where we dropped to 0. We're back again now. And CPU, oh, yeah, it spiked to 26%. Ah, that's so weird. It spiked to 26%, but no, it still looks like bandwidth rather than CPU. I really need to work that out if I'm going to do much more Alexa stuff. Can't be dropping out every time I try and deploy. So, open hello world. Ask hello world hi. Hi. Okay, so now it's keeping that session open, and it's not saying anything else, but I should be able to use any of my utterances, like how are you with a question mark, hello world, and if I say never mind, it should exit out. Cheerio, great to see you. That's my goodbye. If I say hi, it doesn't understand how to do it. Did not resolve to any intent in my skill. Yeah, I really don't know what's going on with that deploy. Like, it should not be taking up that much bandwidth. Like, it's uploading a zip file. That's all. Like, How big is this folder? Okay, that is actually bigger than I expected. How big is the node modules folder? Oh. I've just remembered something. Hooks. Pre-deploy. It's actually running npm install before every single deploy. That could be it. That could be exactly it. Oh. Of all the things. If I change that to true. And actually I'll make a change before I try redeploying it. But that would make sense, like npm install then uploading a 52 meg zip file. I thought it was just uploading this one file, a couple of JSON files. If I change my language strings to message 2, 3, hello world, beep boop, great to see you. And then if I change this to message key, so I'm just going to make it choose one randomly. Math.random. And then we're going to read the actual docs. Random number node between 0 and 3. Stack Overflow. That's what I was looking for. Between 0 and 1. That's not what I want. Range from number 1 and number 2. That'll do. Let it be known that I'm a proper developer, copying and pasting from Stack Overflow. Here's 1 and number 2 is 3, and then we'll do hello message 1, hello message 2, hello message 3. And now if I run ask deploy, I've set debug to true, so we should be able to see what actually happens. Or not. Target is Lambda, then we install dependencies in the source directory and echo it out. So npm prefix 1. I guess that npm installs in that custom folder. When the terminal loads, let's have a look. It's taking its time, isn't it? I guess generating that zip file. It's pretty intense. Okay, and we're back. I'm just going to check if there is anything in that Lambda custom. Yeah. That node modules is 52 megabytes. That's what's taking up all my bandwidth. What's even in there? James path, the SDK runtime. I know, right? Like, that's a hefty install just to run that little bit of code that we wrote. That was 187 lines. But at least now I've got an idea of what to look at. And I can test this. So, ask hello world hi. And I've definitely gotten something wrong in my code. Because that should have returned by now. Yeah, I'm just going to delete that and put it back to how we were. Just so we get back to a working state. I was trying to be too clever, making it dynamic, give a different answer each time. So what have I learned? All handlers implement two methods, can handle and handle. For the error handler, can handle is always true, it can handle anything. But the hello world intent can only handle things of intent request and hello world intent. And then we return the response builder with speak output. The speak output is just a string. It's still not going to work because I didn't put my strings back. So I would need to deploy yet again, but I'm not going to bother doing that. Instead, I'm just going to keep looking at the code. We speak just any string and then we get the response from the response builder. Feels very Java-esque, doesn't it? Help intent, so tell people how to use the skill. Cancel or stop the session that's running. And then fallback. Let's say something that doesn't map to any intents in your skill. And this is one that I keep thinking that I haven't looked at, but it definitely is. Sorry, I don't know about that. Please try again. And then session ended. So I need to do a little bit more learning about how to open a session, how to end a session. But really a lot of my skills are going to be one shot. Like Alexa, ask my skill what time it is for Michael, or ask my skill when our next free weekend is. It's good to know that I can build just one skill for our house. We'd have to give it a cool name, you know, something like Jarvis. So, ask Jarvis what time it is for Michael. And then they're just different handlers based on the model and the samples. Okay, I've got ideas. I think I know what I'm going to go for. This has been a really fun exploration, actually. It's gone tidy up some of these actions, delete some of my old ones from 2018 that I didn't know I had. But I think I'm going to stick with this. Like, I'm quite enjoying building things for Alexa, understanding the interaction model. And next week I think I'm going to build... Oh, what action do you think we should build? Maybe we'll start with something simple. Maybe we'll start with an Alexa skill that... I was going to say that sends a message. I'm thinking about work again, that sends a text message. But then I've got to understand how to put credentials into a Lambda function. I guess that would be useful anyway. Like, even if I'm looking up a calendar or something, I'd need credentials. I'm going to have a think. I'm not sure what skill I'm going to be building next week, but I will definitely be building a skill next week. Maybe even writing some tests for it as well, because as you can see, this push, test, the feedback loop is quite slow. Whereas if I take a look at Nick's examples, we can actually define the intents and try running our code directly and just express some expected behavior. I'm going to go away and write some of this up as a blog post, just so I can make sure that I understand it ready for next week. But thank you to everyone that's joined us. It's been awesome learning about Alexa. I managed not to show you any of my credentials, which is a new achievement for me. I did a stream on Saturday about GitHub Actions, and then had to change my access token for the GitHub API, not once but twice, because I gave it away twice in stream. The first time accidentally, and the second time even more accidentally. But hey, we're all human, right? Thank you for joining us, Brett. What time zone are you in? And I've just noticed that the stream is actually quite far behind, thanks to the OBS issues we have when deploying. Wow, it's really behind. Nice, you're up in Newcastle. Yeah, a little bit far away from me. I'm down on the south coast now. As the accent gives away, I was never... I'm not from here, but it's where I call home for the last couple of years. Quite nice. Right, I'm going to wrap up there. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, everyone that's joined us. And we will see you at 7 PM next Monday, where we're actually going to be building the first part of my home automation Alexa skill setup. Cheers all.